Hey guys, check this out. Back again. So, what we're going to focus on today is we're going to build on what we learned yesterday. And yesterday we talked about understanding ratios and part to part ratios and whole to part ratios and how we write them the three different ways. Can write apples to oranges, apples colon oranges, or we could do it in fraction form like apples as the numerator and oranges as the denominator. And that would be a part-to-part comparison. But if we were comparing the number of apples we had to the amount of fruit we had, then it would be a part-to-whole comparison. Okay. So just real quick, what we're gonna do is our first lesson. We just gotta write down our lesson or our topic. So our lesson today is gonna be understanding rates and unit rates. So we're gonna take what we learned about from ratios yesterday, and then we're going to apply it to try to find the individual rate for if there was only one apple or one orange. How would it compare to each other? So the lesson we're going to do today is called Understanding Rates and Unit Rates. Okay, and then our first vocab word we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about a rate. Okay, and actually I'm going to go back 1 second because I kind of skipped over something. Our essential question for today: are there special types of ratios? Okay, and then our first vocab word is going to be a rate. An array is a special type of ratio that compares quantities with unlike units of measures, such as 150 miles in 3 hours. If the comparison is to one unit, the rate is called a unit rate. So a rate is a ratio that compares quantities with an unlike unit of measurement. And one such example of that special type of rate would be 150 miles to 3 hours. Okay, and then our second vocab word is a unit rate. And a unit rate is the comparison of one unit. An example that, and the way that would work, guys, that should say comparison to one unit. The way that would work is, let's say we were trying to find out how many miles we traveled in 1 hour. So if we traveled 150 miles in 3 hours, well, how far would we have gone in an hour? So what I would want to find out is I would want to find out to 1 hour. And the easiest way to do this is divide or find an equivalent fraction. So if 150 miles took me 3 hours, well, I know 1 hour, because 150 divided by 3 is 50. So I know in 1 hour, I go 50 miles. And that's it, guys. But we really need to pay attention because you're going to get a lot of questions that are going to ask for the unit rate. So whenever you hear unit rate, you automatically assume one. Whatever it is, it's 1 to however many that quantity of a different measurement is. For our example here, it was for 1 hour. We needed to find out how many miles we went in 1 hour. So all I simply did, well, I know in 3 hours I did 150 miles. So we're going to assume that every hour was equal. So that means I traveled 50 miles in an hour. Okay? And then I want to go ahead and I want to look at, I'm going to do example 8 for you guys. And it says for the directions for example 8 is going to be, our number 8 would be write each as a rate and a unit rate. So it says for number 8, my example is 36 butterflies on 9 flowers. And the way I would write this is as a fraction, and I would say for 36 butterflies, there's 9 flowers. And then I want to find out how many butterflies are on 1 flower. So right here it would be 1. Well, I know that 9 flowers have 36. So if I do 36 divided by 9, it would give me 4 butterflies. Okay? And now remember, this right here is butterflies. And this right here is the number of flowers. Alright, guys? And that's it. That's this whole lesson. And we can do one more example if you want. And I can go ahead and I'll use number 10 as my example. And it says 18 eggs laid in 3 days. So if I wanted to find out, first I need to find out my rate. So my rate is 18 on 3. Okay? So that's telling me we could say a chicken laid 18 eggs in 3 days. Well, how many eggs did the chicken lay each day? And if we're going to do that evenly, we're going to find the unit rate. So remember, the unit rate always goes to 1. So if this was 3 days, how many did I do in 1 day? Well, I know I can do 18 divided by 3, which would give me 6. So my equivalent fraction, or my unit rate, would be for 1 day, the chicken laid 6 eggs. And remember, this right here, the 18 over 3 is going to be your rate. So this right here is your rate. Okay? This right here is your unit rate. And the reason it's your unit rate is because it has a 1. Whenever we hear unit rate, know that we want to the 1, we're going to take to 1. So it may be hours, miles, a measurement of time, a measurement of weight, a measurement of cost. So it's going to be how much did it cost for that one item is going to be my unit rate. Okay? And then, so let's remember for homework, the only thing you guys have for homework tonight would be your summary. And go back and answer your essential question. Are there special types of ratios? Well, there is special types of ratios, and one of them is a unit rate. Okay? And then what I want you guys to do today in class is I want you to do the guided practice. And that can be found on page 386. I want you to do all of it. Now make sure you get your work checked by Miss Russell or Miss Clayton. They both have an answer guide. Before you move on to independent practice. Guided practice, you're working alone by yourself, okay? And next thing I want you guys to work on is independent practice. And I probably spell independent wrong, because I always do. You figure by now I'd be able to do this, guys. Okay? In your independent practice, I want you guys to do 7 through 17, odd. And then I want you guys to do 19 through 24, all. Okay? Couple things. Message me on Teams tomorrow. I'm going to be home or I'm going to be at the dentist with my son. So I'll respond as best as I can or as quick as I can, okay? If you need help, just message me, okay? Second thing is, you should have already did, before you did your notes today, you should have done your quick check that you found on Microsoft Teams. If for some reason you can't access Microsoft Teams, you can't figure it out, that's fine. We'll deal with that on Friday. I will check your notebooks on Friday when I'm at school. So remember that if we need to tidy up because of FSA, I know we're gonna have some missing days on your math reflections. That's okay, but it needs to be of what my expectation is and what my notes need to look like. Okay. And then finally I talked about the digital quick check. Okay, if you happen to get done early, the only option you're allowed to do, unless Miss Clayton tells you otherwise, is go on Khan Academy. I would really love to see some of you guys really move up in your mission over these last 2 weeks and see how close to 6th grade you can get. Set a personal goal. Write it down in your notebook. See if you can meet that goal in the next 2 weeks. All right, guys, hit me up in the comments. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know what I did right. Let me know what I did wrong. Overall, just have a great day tomorrow. I'll miss you guys, and I'll see you on Friday.